All right, guys. Today we are going to talk about problem solving with volume. So, our goal is to relate volume to the operations of multiplication and addition and solve real world problems that involve volume. So, before we get started, let's review some of the topics that we learned this week. So, I want you guys to start by finding the volume of these four rectangular prisms. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to do that, and then we will go over the answers in just a second. All right, if you're still working, go ahead and pause the video. If not, let's go over this one. All right, so our first box, we want to look at the number of layers. We've got one layer here and a second layer here. So we've got two layers. How many boxes in each layer? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do 2 times 6, and I'm going to get the volume of 12. 2 times 6 equals 12 cubic units. All right. All right, let's move on to our next problem right here. We've got, again, 1, 2 layers. In each layer, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 boxes. So in order to find the volume for this one, we are going to do 2 layers times 8 boxes in each layer, and we are going to get 16 cubic units. All right. Ooh, geez, sorry. Moving down to the bottom 2, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers times 1, 2, 4, 6 boxes in each. So I'm going to get 24 cubic units. And our last one over here, we've got 1, 2, 3 layers. So we're going to do 3 times 2, 4, 6, 8 boxes in each layer, and we are going to get 24 cubic units. Awesome job, guys. Moving on. All right, so here we have some irregular prisms. So on our previous page, right here, all of our layers were even. Looking at this page, we could tell our layers are not even. For example, right here, our bottom layer here, we've got 1 layer, and we've got 2, 4, and then 6 total in that bottom layer. Okay, so how we would want to do this is we want to break it up by layer and add them together. So our bottom layer has 6 cubes. Our top layer only has 2 cubes. Oops. So we are going to have, why does it keep doing that? Sorry. 2 equals 8 cubic units. All right, over here we have 1 total layer, so we can simply just count the boxes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total boxes. So our volume is going to equal 5 cubic units. All right, let's go down to the bottom. All right, so again here we can just simply count the boxes because we have 3 total layers going up and down, but we can see all of our boxes here. Okay, so we've got 1 right here, we've got 3 in the middle, so that's 4, and then 1 up top. So our volume is going to equal 5 cubic units. All right, and our last one, let's take a look. Our bottom layer has 1, 2, 3, 4. The second layer, it looks like there's a row missing in between. So there's 1, 2, so we're at 6. And then our top layer has the same thing, 7, 8. 8 total boxes, so our volume equals 8 cubic units. Okay, so there's a couple ways you can do this. You can mark off each box as you count them. You could add the layers like we did in our first problem, or if you just want to try and count them and hope for the best, go for it. All right, let's talk about some real world problems here. So our first problem of the day here is the Pokemon trader, Misty, bought a new fish tank for her Magikarp. What is the volume of the fish tank? So some of us might have fish tanks at home. Some may get them in the future. Volume is needed to figure out the space inside, the amount of water you'll need for the fish tank. So here are our dimensions of our fish tank. We've got 20 inches in length, 10 inches in width, and 12 inches in height. So what is the volume for the fish tank? Go ahead and pause the video and try and solve this on your own. All right, if you're ready, let's go over this problem. So we want to write out our formula. Our length is 20, our width is 10, and our height is 12. We're going to start by doing 20 times 10, which we should all be able to do in our head and get 200. Now we want to do 200 times 12. Again, we should be able to do this in our head because we simply just have to do 12 times 2 and then add up our zeros on there. So 12 times 2 I know is 24, and I've got 2 zeros in 200, so I'm going to add those 2 zeros. So my volume is going to be 2,400 cubic inches. All right, let's keep going. The area of the base now of a rectangular prism is 36 cubic centimeters. The height of the prism is 9 centimeters. What is the volume? Go ahead and pause this video and try and solve this problem. All right, if you're ready, let's go over this one. So here we have the area of the base, which means, try and draw this out, the entire bottom of this prism is going to be 36 cubic centimeters. So that means we already have our length times our width. Okay, so we don't even have to do the first part of our volume equation. So we can just go ahead and skip length times width because we have it right here with the area of the base. Okay, and we could do 36 times 9. Now, you can solve this however you want. The way I prefer would be to, I know that 9 is close to 10. Okay, so I'm going to do 36 times 10, and I'm going to get 360. Now, in order to find 36 times 9, I have to take a group of 36 now away from 360. Okay, so 360 minus 30 is 330. Then minus 6 more would be 324 cubic centimeters. And this is our volume. All right, so let's do a couple more and then you'll be ready to go for the day. All right, the volume of a rectangular prism is 140 cubic centimeters. I'm going to note that right away. We know the volume already. So we're not solving for volume. So the volume equals 140 cubic centimeters. Now they say the area of the base of the prism is 20 square centimeters. So we have to figure out what the height is. I want you to pause this video and take a second to think, how can we find out what the height is right here? All right, one way we could do this is division. 140 divided by 20 to get us this number, because we know multiplication and division, they're kind of like related, right? They're like cousins, they're or siblings, they're opposite, okay? When we multiply two numbers together and we get an answer, that answer can be divided by one of those numbers to get the other number, like a fact family, right? 2 times 4 equals 8. 8 divided by 4 equals 2. That's a fact family. So, same thing here. We know we have to do question mark times 20 to get our volume, which we already know. Okay, so a couple ways you could do this. You can divide 140 divided by 20. Or you can write the equation like this and think, okay, well, what times 20 is going to equal 140? Well, I see some numbers here that I know pretty well, 2 and 14, right? 2 and 14. So I want you to go ahead and pause this video and try and solve this and see what you get. All right, if you're ready to go over this, let's talk about it. If not, I want you to pause the video and keep working on this. Okay, so like I said before, the numbers stuck out to me right away. I see 14 and I see 2. Well, I know 14 divided by 2 is 7, right? So that automatically sticks out to me. If I were to put a 7 here, 7 times 2 is 14. And then I've got a 0 in 20, so I would add that 0 at the end for 140. So what my height is here is going to be 7 centimeters. Once I get typing. So height equals 7 centimeters. Boom. And that is our answer. All right, one last problem today, guys. Ash found that the volume of a rectangular prism was 96 cubic inches. Again, here we're given the volume. I'm going to write that down. All right. He remembered that the area of the base, let's write that down. Area of base was 16 square inches. So the area of the base, that means that's our length times our width. What was the height of the box? So we have to figure out the height. So again, just like our problem last time, we are missing the height. So we have our area of the base, which is 16 times our height, we don't know what that is, equals 96 cubic inches. All right, go ahead and pause this video and try and solve for the height. Think of ways that you can figure this one out. All right. So the way I did this was division. I did 96 divided by 16 to get my height. You guys also could have multiplied to figure out what 16 times what equals 96. But if you divided like me, or however you solved it, you should have gotten a height of 6 inches. Boom. All right, guys, ask any questions that you have on Class Kick about today's work. If you're very confused, we'll meet at 11:30 on Zoom. Good luck.